Hey y'all, Austin here with Our World Media. Welcome back to another book review, guys. It is June. It is June on the range. And though I have not been posting videos in almost 2 months, you didn't expect me to go without reading some Westerns in the month of June, did you? I know it's been quite some time since I've reviewed a Western or really picked up one. So I figured let's get back in. Let's pick up a little more. Let's start off with a bang. And while I'm not sure this is starting off with a bang, it's still a solid Western, and that is Conger by Louis Lamour. This initially came out. Oh, when did this come out? September of 1969. This is again a Western, but what is it about? Because Lamour has quite the selection of Westerns. What sticks this out above the others? Well, let's read the back. Smoke Parnell and his outfit knew every dirty trick in the book, from robbing and rustling to cold-blooded murder. There were 5 of them, sometimes 6, enough for men to scare a lot of people. Only one man in the territory had something new to teach them, and he was sure they wouldn't like it. That is Conager. Again, that's the description of the back of the book. What is my description of this book? Essentially, we see this family that's moved out west to start up a ranch, and we see the hard times and the hardship they go through. And within the first chapter, something happens that kind of threw me for a loop. In all honesty, I was not expecting it, didn't see it coming. So I'm not going to say what, but I'll leave that there. But essentially, we see this family that is out in the west, middle of nowhere. There's not really anything nearby. Um, and we see them become kind of a stop along the way for a stagecoach. And as the story progresses, we see the stagecoach company is like, hey, we're going to build our own thing. There's not really going to be anything out here. Y'all are going to be by your lonesome again. So you have this family dynamic of, okay, we're out in the middle of nowhere. We have nothing really. What are we gonna do? We were able to get a little bit of stuff with the stagecoach stopping here. Now that's going away. What are we gonna do? There's outlaws in the area. There's Indians. Um, what are they going to do? But we are also introduced to Conager, a man who we're not told a whole lot about in the beginning. We just know he's not someone to mess with. And so we see how, you know, stuff happens that brings Conager and this family together, and how they cooperate and how they work together, not only to help Conager or the family, but those around them. So again, without going too much into this, like I said, I always try to keep these spoiler free. That's kind of my description of this. Again, there are outlaws in the area, there's rustlers, there's Indians, there's people that are holding grudges. So again, a lot of the standard typical Louis L'Amour items that we see in his books. Some books may focus on one, some on the other. This one really brings them all into one short, precise, not very long book. Again, coming in just a little over 150 pages. But the thing about L'Amour, always that I've said, is he has no fluff in his books. He tells the story for what it is. It's awesome. It's great. This, I would say this is more, while there is action in it, I feel like this is more of a love story. We see, people realizing, hey, we're not as young, or I'm not as young as I used to be. Maybe it wouldn't be a bad thing to, fall in love, have a family, settle down, have a ranch, have a farm, have this, have that. Everybody else around me is kind of telling me this. Like, do I slowly start to see that? So again, I feel like this is really more of a love story set in the Old West with some stuff that's thrown in there with the typical L'Amour tropes. Again, like I said, this is a very strong Western. If you're looking to first get into Louis L'Amour, not a bad place, especially if you're interested in the, love aspect or romantic aspect. I think this has, most of his books have that, but this one I feel like focuses a little bit more on it than others. So like I said, Conager by Louis L'Amour, a good, concise, precise book. He knows exactly what he's writing. So like I said, another solid L'Amour book. I've yet to be disappointed by a L'Amour book that I know of. I know there's some I've liked more than others, but I've yet to come across one that's a bad book. I don't think he's got it in him. I've read like over 40 or 50 of these at this point, Again, I've enjoyed every single one I've read. And like I said, guys, try to keep these always short. So that is my review of Conger. As always, guys, let me know down below, what are you guys reading? As always, y'all stay safe, and I'll see you next time.